Good morning everyone. In today's class I would like to continue the yesterday topic, which is human rabies. So coming to the prevention of this human rabies, we are having mainly three types. First one is post exposure prophylaxis, second one is pre exposure prophylaxis, and next one is post exposure treatment of persons who have been previously vaccinated. So we'll discuss in detail regarding the post exposure prophylaxis. Coming to this post exposure prophylaxis, what are all the general things that you have to consider while you are considering it as a post exposure prophylaxis? So mainly the aim of this post exposure means already the patient had been exposed to the virus. So if the patient had been exposed to the virus, means if we had any bite, or if the animal has licked him through any means, if the person is affected with that virus, then you will consider it as a post exposure prophylaxis. Mainly the aim is to neutralize the inoculated virus before it can enter into the nervous system. Means before the virus is entering into the nervous system, we are neutralizing the virus. And next one is, every instance should be treated as a medical emergency. So any person who is getting affected with this infected dog or infected animal, he or she should be treated as a medical emergency case. You should take it as a medical emergency case. Next one is, you have to introduce him a single dose of anti-rabies serum. You have to introduce him a single dose of anti-rabies serum vaccine. Together with the local treatment of the wound is the best specific prophylactic treatment after the exposure. So what it is saying, mainly the aim of this general prophylaxis is to neutralize the virus which is already entered into the body, in order to stop it reach to central nervous system. And next one is, you have to consider the case as a medical emergency case. And next one is, you have to administer single dose of anti-rabies serum vaccine along with the local treatment to the wound, where the patient has got a bite or where the patient has been exposed. Next one is local treatment of the wound. So what is the local treatment of the wound here? Mainly the purpose is to remove as much as virus. The purpose is to remove as much virus as possible from the site of inoculation. So where the person had injury, where the dog has beaten him, where the exposed wound is there you have to treat locally. Local treatment should be done immediately after the exposure, means within minutes you have to treat the wound. If not, there are more chances for the escape of inoculated virus into the body, and it can reduce up to 80% chances of getting rabies. So if you are able to treat the local wound within minutes, if you are able to treat, then you can reduce the chance up to 80%. So 80% of getting rabies chance had been reduced whenever the local treatment of the wound is given appropriately. And this one comprises of, means what is this local treatment of wound comprises of? Means it comprises of cleaning, chemical treatment, anti-rabies serum, and antibiotics and anti-tetanus measures. So what you are doing, you are cleaning the wound appropriately, you are giving chemical treatment at the wound so that the organism which had entered is destroyed, and you are giving anti-rabies serum. What this anti-rabies serum is doing, it is neutralizing the body, and you are giving the certain types of antibiotics so that to prevent the other bacterial infections, and you are giving anti-tetanus measures. You are taking anti-tetanus measures. So this is post-exposure prophylaxis. So what is this cleaning? What is this cleaning comprises of? So immediate flushing and washing of the wound, scratches and adjoining areas with plenty of soap and water, preferably under running water, for at least 5 minutes. So for at least 5 minutes you have to clean the wound, you have to wash the wound, or you have to wash the scratches, or you have to wash the adjoining areas with what? Plenty of soap and water. You have to use running water only. You have to use running water or tap water, and you have to wash the wound for at least 5 minutes. And if soap isn't available, flushing should be done with plenty of water. So if there is no soap available, you have to do flushing with plenty of water. So if there is, in case of any punctured wounds or catheter can be if there is any punctured wound, it means whenever a dog is coming and biting you, if the wound is going deep inside, if the wound is going deep inside at least for 1 to 2 centimeters, in such cases what you have to do, you have to introduce catheter and you have to irrigate the wound. At least for 5 minutes. With what? Soap and water. With which water? Running water. With running water you have to clean the wound. In case of puncture wounds, what you have to do? You have to introduce a catheter and you have to irrigate the wound. Coming to the chemical treatment. So what type of chemical we are going to use here? We should be using inactivated by irrigation of virucidal agent. That means wound should be inactivated by the irrigation with virucidal agents, that is either alcohol or tincture or 0.01 aqueous solution of iodine or povidone iodine. So you have to use either an alcohol solution, or you have to use either a tincture, or you have to use either 0.01% aqueous solution of iodine or povidone iodine. Next one is suturing. So what you have to do? What is this suture? Bite should not be immediately sutured to prevent the additional trauma, which may help in spread of the virus to deeper tissues. So if you are suturing the wound, there are more chances for the virus to go into deeper tissues. So you should not suture it immediately. Suturing is done if necessary in large wounds, which is done in 24 to 48 hours. So generally if a person is meeting with an accident, or if there is any big wound or any laceration which is deep inside, what we will do, if there is deep cut, we will go for suturing. But in this case, where the post exposure prophylaxis is taking place for the disease rabies, you should not suture the wound immediately. You should take time for at least 24 hours or 48 hours. Why? Because if you suture the wound, there is more chances for the virus to enter into the deeper tissues. So in order to prevent those entry of the virus into deeper tissues, you should not suture the wound immediately. If it is a large wound and the suturing is very much necessary, then you have to do the suturing after 24 hours to 48 hours. And next, coming to the anti-rabies serum. The local application of anti-rabies serum or infiltration around the wound has shown the effective in preventing rabies. So local application of this anti-rabies serum or infiltration around the wound, it has shown a great effect in preventing the rabies, and the sensitivity should be tested before you are giving the anti-rabies vaccine. Next one is antibiotics and anti-tetanus measures. So what you have to do, it is done when indicated with the local treatment. So what you have to do, you have to provide antibiotics and you have to do local treatment. And other one is, you have to observe the animal for at least 10 days. You have to observe the animal for at least 10 days. So if the animal showing any signs and symptoms of this rabies, so if at all the animal which has bitten you is showing any kind of rabies signs and symptoms, you have to kill the animal in a humane manner. And its head should be removed and it should be sent for to laboratory under a proper refrigeration for rabies examination. So if you find out any signs and symptoms of rabies in a dog or in a domestic animal which has bitten you, either it may be a cat, or either it may be a dog, or either it may be a squirrel, or either it may be a jackal. So if you have to observe the animal for at least 10 days. So meanwhile, in this 10 days, if you find any symptoms which are relating to rabies disease, there you have to kill the animal in a humane manner, and under proper refrigeration you have to cut the neck of the animal and you have to send it for the laboratory. For what? For clinical examination of the rabies. And next one is, wild animal should not be killed should be immediately killed and examined for rabies. If animal remains healthy and alive at the end of the 10 days, there is no indication for anti-rabies. So what you have to do, if the animal is remaining healthy and it is alive at the end of 10 days, there is no indication for anti-rabies. Next one is immunization. What is this immunization? Why we will give this immunization? For every disease they are giving immunization. For what? It is it is producing a immune response. It is producing a immune response, so that whenever the real virus is coming and attacking us, our body will fight against it and it will survive from the disease. So mainly the aim of the vaccination is to produce an immune status as quickly as possible, so that the virus will not become established in peripheral nerve, along with it will travel to the central nervous system. So mainly whenever you are immunizing the patient, the virus which has entered is not established in the peripheral nervous system. If it is not established in the peripheral nervous system, there is no chance of the virus to enter into the central nervous system or autonomic nervous system, so that the signs and symptoms can be prevented and the disease itself can be prevented. That's what we are giving immunization. What we are giving? Serum antibodies. Serum antibodies, they will appear approximately after 7 days of vaccination. So once the vaccination is given to the person, the serum antibodies can be observed after 7 days approximately, and immunity is less effective after a nerve infection has been established. So immunity is less effective after a nerve infection has been established. So before the peripheral nervous system is being affected, the immunity will protect it. Once the infection is occurring, once the nerve infection is occurring in the peripheral nervous system, then the immunity will become less effective. And rabies vaccine is unique because it is the only vaccine which is given after the exposure to infection. So as I said, for how many days we are observing the dog here? For how many days we are observing the dog here? For 10 days. So within this 10 days, if the dog is giving us any symptoms of rabies, we are killing it. Whereas here, coming to the immunization, so this is only vaccine which is given only after the dog is biting you. Mean only after you are exposed to the disease. That's what post prophylaxis of the rabies, the statement is meaning. So this is the only vaccine that is given after the exposure to infection. So what is the incubation period here? As I said, it is about 10 to 14 days. So it can occur as early as 4 days, and also it can occur after many years. Also. So rabies, it is the only disease which is having huge variation in its incubation period, as I said in the previous class. So if you have seen the previous class, you will know what is the incubation period and what is the I have explained everything there. You can go and watch that part A session of this rabies. So what it is, the incubation varies as in a large variety. So it can occur as early as 4 days after the exposure of the infection, or it can occur after many years of exposure to the infection. That's what we are giving rabies vaccine after the exposure. So before 10 days approximately, once the patient is had exposure to the infection, we will take the patient and we will give him the anti-rabies vaccine. And this rabies vaccine, it will approximately produce the antibodies after 7 days. So coming to the note for this vaccine, there is no adverse efforts that has been reported due to the vaccine, and rabies exposure during pregnancy should be considered as an indicator for termination of pregnancy. So you should consider it as a hazard, and you should try to terminate the pregnancy, because there are more chances for the baby to get affected with this rabies or to the mother. And next one is, there are no reports about the excretion of live virus in the milk during the breastfeeding. If a pregnant mother, if a mother is breastfeeding the baby and if she had any exposure to the vaccine, there is no evidence that the virus is being excreted through breast milk or breastfeed. So indication for the anti-rabies treatment. So what are the indications? So if the dog showing any kind of signs and symptoms or dies after the 10 days of observation, and if the biting of the animal cannot be traced or identified, or unprovoked bites, and laboratory tests of brain of the biting animal are positive for rabies, or all bites of wild animals. So these are the indications for anti-rabies treatment. So if the dog is dying within 10 days of observation, you have to go for anti-rabies treatment. If the biting animal is not traced, you have to go for anti-rabies treatment, unprovoked bites. And if the laboratory which we have sent the head to the lab. If it is positive, you have to go for anti-rabies. All bites of wild animals. So all these are the indications for anti-rabies treatment. Coming to the anti-rabies serum. So mainly it prevents the replication of the virus at the site of the bite. It is preventing the replication of virus at the site of the bite, and it should be given as promptly as possible after the sensitivity test, irrespective to the interval between the exposure and the beginning of treatment. And it has been shown that it can reduce the infection if it is administered soon after the exposure. Means what it is showing, it will reduce the infection rate. It will reduce the infection rate if it is administered as soon as the patient had been exposed to the infected animal. And there are two types of vaccines which are available: horse anti-rabies serum and human rabies immunoglobulin. First one, and this one is the second one. These are the two types of anti-rabies serum which are available. First one is horse anti-rabies serum, and next one is human rabies immunoglobulin. Coming to the horse anti-rabies serum. So it is mainly produced in the horse and other animals such as mules, donkeys and rabbits, and it should be given on the day 0 in a single dose of 40 international units per kg body weight. It should be given on the day 0, means whenever the patient has been exposed to the disease, on the day itself you have to give this horse anti-rabies serum, that is of 40 international units per kg body weight, and it should be followed by a course of vaccine, and it can sometimes induce anaphylactic reaction also. So this is why it is necessary to ensure that the patient is not sensitive to the serum. You have to give this horse anti-rabies serum after the proper sensitivity test, because it can produce an anaphylactic reaction. Coming to the human rabies immunoglobulin. The dose recommended is a single dose of administration, that is 20 international units per kg body weight, and the procedure is to inject part of dose around the wound and to administer the rest by IM in the gluteal region. Mainly the procedure it is to inject the part of dose around the wound, means where the wound had been occurred, there you are injecting some part of this human rabies immunoglobulin, and rest of the medicine it is given intramuscularly in the gluteal region, and it does not require any prior sensitivity testing. Whereas the horse anti-rabies serum, it required a sensitivity test, because there are more chances of producing an anaphylactic reaction. But coming to the horse rabies immunoglobulin, you need not to wait for any kind of sensitivity testing. Next one is a slight rise in the temperature may be noted after the injection. So if you are giving this human rabies immunoglobulin, you can observe a slight rise in the temperature whenever the medicine is injected into the body. So these are the guidelines for post-exposure treatment. So what are the guidelines for post-exposure treatment? Means mainly category, mainly based on the type of contact with suspected or confirmed rabid animal. So type of exposure recommended post-exposure prophylaxis. So based on the type of exposure, we are recommending the post-exposure prophylaxis. First one is touching or feeding of animal licks on intact skin. So if there is touching or feeding of the animals for a confirmed rabid animal, if there is reliable case history is available, then you have to go for post-exposure treatment. And nibbling or on uncovered skin with minor scratches or abrasions without bleeding, you have to go for minor administration of vaccine immediately. So if the animal is only licking you on the intact skin, means where the skin is, if the skin is normal, you can see here the skin is normal. If the animal is coming and licking here, you can if it is having any history of this treatment, if it is having any history of this rabies, if it is a confirmed rabid animal or a suspect rabid animal, you have to go for post-exposure treatment. means post exposure prophylaxis. If it is nibbling on uncovered skin, if it is coming and scratching on uncovered skin with minor scratches, or there are no abrasions without bleeding, and then you have to go for minor administration of vaccine as immediately as possible. Third one is single or multiple transdermal bites or scratches and licks on the broken skin. If the skin is not in intact and there is any kind of abrasion or broken skin, if the dog is coming and licking you at that place, you have to go. If there is contamination of mucous membrane with the saliva, then you have to definitely go for post exposure treatment. So what are the three types? First one is touching or feeding the animals which are having positive, and second one is nibbling on the uncovered skin. Whenever a rabid animal or suspected animal is coming and nibbling you on uncovered skin with minor scratches or without any kind of bleeding, abrasions or without any bleeding, then you have to go for minor administration of vaccine immediately. And if there is single or multiple transdermal bites or scratches or licks on the broken skin with the contamination of mucous membrane of the saliva of a rabid animal, then immediately you have to go for post exposure treatment. Coming to the vaccination, cell culture and purified duck embryo vaccines are given intramuscularly on the following schedule. The vaccine schedule is recommended. The vaccine schedule which is recommended, it consists of 6 doses. First one is on the day 0, means when the dog is biting you, on day 3, on day 7, on day 14 and day 28. Day 0, day 3, day 7, day 14 and day 28. So here you are receiving nearly 5 doses, and the booster dose is given at day 90. The booster dose is given at day 90 because you don't know when the disease will occur. It can occur as early as on the 4th day, or it can occur even after many years. That's what, whenever you are going for vaccine, mainly they are giving purified duck embryo vaccine or cell culture vaccine. They are giving it in the intramuscular region. It is given on day 0, day 3, day 7, day 14, day 28, and booster dose it is given at day 90. It is given on the deltoid and it must not be given into the buttock. It is mainly given on the deltoid muscle, but it should not be given on the buttock region. Coming to the adverse effects. So what are the adverse effects here? There are no such as serious adverse effects. Although a few vaccines may experience local rashes and pain, headache, fever, but all symptoms are very short-lived. So as it is saying there are no serious adverse effects. You can observe local redness, pain, headache and fever, but all these symptoms are short-lived and they will disappear as early as possible. So this is regarding post-exposure to the infection. Now we will discuss regarding pre-exposure prophylaxis. So what is this pre-exposure prophylaxis? So before the patient is being exposed, before a individual is being exposed to the virus, you have to go for a dose of cell culture vaccine. It is given either 1 ml IM or it can be given 1 ml intradermal on the day 0, day 7 and on the 28 dose. And booster doses can be also administered if antibody levels fall down. So based on the increased antibody levels in the body, we will go for the booster doses. And further booster injection should be administered at intervals of 2 years as long as exposed person remain at risk. So this is pre-exposure prophylaxis. So we are giving the vaccine 1 ml to the intramuscular or 0.1 ml to the intradermal on the day 0, day 7 and day 28. The booster doses they are given whenever the antibody levels is falling down, and further booster doses are given for every 2 years interval as long as the person remain at risk. Coming to the post exposure treatment of persons who have been vaccinated previously. So here pre-exposure prophylaxis. So what is happening here? The person is taking the treatment before he is taking the vaccine before he is exposed to the virus. So we are maintaining him regularly. So what is happening if this person got affected with the virus? So post exposure treatment, persons who have been vaccinated previously. So we are giving 3 1 ml IM doses of horse. So 3 1 ml IM doses of HDC vaccine are recommended on day 0, day 3 and day 7 if the bite is severe. So what is this HDC? Human diploid cell vaccine. It is given human diploid cell vaccine. If the bite is not severe, only 2 doses are needed on the day 0 and day 3. So I'm saying you regarding the person who had been vaccinated for this disease, rabies. What we are giving, if the bite is severe, they are giving 1 ml of IM doses of human diploid cell vaccine. On day 3 they are giving, on day 7 they are giving, on day 0 they are giving. If the bite is not severe, then the person requires only 2 doses. Mainly on day 0 they are giving a dose, and on day 3 they are giving the dose. Coming to the rabies in dogs, which is present in the dogs. So incubation period in the dog remains for 3 to 8 weeks, but it may be as short as 10 days and as long as 10 years or even more. And coming to the clinical picture, you can see furious rabies. In furious rabies, typical mad dog syndrome is characterized by, you can observe typical mad dog syndrome, and it is characterized by change in the behavior. It will become aggressive and bites without provocation and bites unusual objects and sticks and mud and etc. So coming to the rabies in dogs. So what is this rabies in dogs? So as compared to humans, even in dogs also the incubation period varies. Usually it occurs within 3 to 8 weeks, but it can be as short as 10 days and as long as 1 year or even more also. If you take the clinical picture here, first one is furious rabies. In furious rabies, it is a mad dog. It is characterized by change in its behavior. So what is the behavior? You can see the dogs, they will become very aggressive and they will bite without any kind of provocation. Even though you are walking beside the dog, if you are not doing anything also, it will come and bite you. And it will bite unusual objects such as sticks and mud. Next one is running mug, means tendency to run away and wander aimlessly. Means what? The dog will always try to run. The dog will always try to run, and there is no aim also, means it will just keep on running. So that is running a mug. And change in voice, means when the dog, if a normal dog is there, the barking is always in a different way. But if the dog is affected with this rabies vaccine, then there is like the dog barks or growl in hoarse voice, or often doesn't bark because of paralysis of laryngeal muscle. So since this rabies vaccine, it is affecting the central nervous system and autonomic nervous system, even in dogs also it is affecting the same. So whenever a dog is barking, the hoarse voice of the dog will appear. If not, it cannot bark also because of the laryngeal paralysis of the laryngeal muscles. And you can observe excessive salivation and foaming at the angle of mouth. And paralytic stage, whole body will become paralysis, leading to coma or death of the dog. So dumb rabies. So this disease is predominantly paralytic. The dog withdraws itself from being seen or disturbed, and it lapses into the stage of sleepiness and dies about 3 days, and dies in about 3 days. And once the symptoms of rabies develop in animal, it rarely survives more than a week. So what is this dumb rabies? It is very dangerous in the animals. It is predominantly a paralytic one, and the dog itself will be seen, withdraws itself from the scene, means or disturbed. It is going out of the scene, and it will become into a state of sleepiness. And it will die about 3 days. It will die within 3 days. And once the symptoms of this rabies are being developed in the dog, it rarely survives for only 1 week. Coming to the laboratory diagnosis, you have to cut the head of the animal and you have to send it to the laboratory in a refrigerator state in a airtight packed container, and they will do fluorescent antibody test. It is highly reliable test and it gives result within few hours. And next one is microscopic examination. It tests the brain tissues or neighboring bodies, Negri bodies, and this Negri bodies identifies about 75 to 90% of cases of rabies in dogs. So what you have to go for in microscopic examination, you will have to go for Negri bodies, so that if it is in 75 to 90% of the cases, mainly these Negri bodies are helping to confirm the animal is having rabies. So coming to the mouse inoculation test. suspected brain tissue, it is prepared and it is injected into the brain of the mouse. So if the infected, they show any signs and symptoms of rabies between 6 to 8 days, then they will confirm that the animal which has bitten you is having rabies. So what is this mouse inoculation test? So what is this mouse inoculation test? What they are doing, they are taking the animal brain tissue which has bitten you, and they are preparing and they are injecting it into the mice. So whenever it is injected into the mice, if the mice is showing any signs and symptoms of rabies within 6 to 8 days, then they will consider it as a patient, consider it as dog is or the animal is having rabies, and they will start the treatment in the affected person. Next one is corneal test. So virus, it can be detected in live animals in the corneal impressions or in frozen sections of skin biopsies by FRA test. Next one is immunization of dog. So what is this immunization of dog? Prophylactic vaccination of dogs is the most important weapon in rabies control. Prophylactic vaccination is means you have to give immunization to the dog so that it is prevented from getting the rabies vaccine, so that whenever the dog is prevented from getting getting the disease, automatically we are free from the disease. And all dogs should receive primary immunization at the age of 3 to 4 months and booster doses at regular intervals. Control of urban rabies. So how you can control means elimination of stray dogs. So you have to eliminate the street dogs, not stray dogs, street dogs. You have to eliminate the street dogs, and you have to shift mass immunization. Mainly you have to go for mass immunization of the dogs as well as the all animals, and registration and licensing of all domestic animals, and restraint of dogs in the public places, and immediate destruction of cats and dogs bitten by the rabid animal, and quarantine for about 6 months on the imported dogs, and health education to the people regarding the care of dogs and prevention of rabies. So this is how you can control. So how you can control? You have to eliminate the street dogs. That's what you see. If you see in some municipality areas, there are special dog catchers who will catch the street dogs, and they will take mainly to what? To prevent this rabies, mainly to prevent this rabies disease. And next one is shift mass immunization. You have to go for mass immunization in the dogs as well as the human beings, and you have to register the dogs, all the domestic dogs, and you have to get license for those dogs, and you have to restrain the dogs. That's what people will always suggest, to tie the dogs, means restrain the dogs so that it is not biting any other person. And you have to go for immediate destruction of cats and dogs bitten by the rabid animal. If any rabid animal is coming and biting the domestic animals or the other animals which are there, you have to destruct them, means you have to kill them in a humanitarian manner so that the disease is not being spread. And you have to keep the dogs in quarantine for at least 6 months, because the incubation period could be as short as 10 days and as long as years also. That's what, for at least 6 months you have to keep the dog in quarantine which is imported from the rabies affected area. Next one is you have to give health education to the people regarding the care of dogs and prevention of rabies. So mainly prophylaxis, it is the only cure you can do. You have rabies, it is a major problem, major public health problem, and if once the symptoms of rabies are appearing, it is very fatal. And so you can observe one death for every 15 minutes worldwide, and 90% of human rabies cases are resulting from the dog, and out of 4 deaths, 4 out of 10 deaths are in children because of the rabies vaccine. And rabies is 100% vaccine preventable disease. You have to go and vaccinate the individual as well as the dogs, so that the persons are not being affected. So on September 28, it is celebrated as anti-rabies day by the WHO. So if there is no bites, there is no rabies. If you vaccinate the animal and if you take vaccination to the human beings also, you can prevent the rabies disease. Thanks for listening. If you have any queries, you can contact me through my email and through my WhatsApp. Thank you so much.